very much. I appreciate it, Secretary Cisneros. I'd like to start. I recognize myself for opening questions. All across this country, families need high-quality, affordable child care in order to show up at their jobs or go to school. Military families are no exception on this. In fact, because of non-standard work hours, sudden changes, significant deployments, the need for child care among our military families can be even greater. And that's why our military has long recognized that child care is essential to supporting service members' ability to protect our country. DoD runs the largest employer-sponsored child care program in the United States. Military and non-military families should all have access to high-quality, reliable care, which is why I based my bill for a universal child care system on the DoD model. But the DoD child care system still faces its own challenges, a top one being finding enough workers to care for eligible children. Secretary Cisneros, workforce shortages have been a major problem in the child care industry for years now. And of course, it's been made even worse since the pandemic. Are military child development centers facing this issue as well?
Thank you for that question, Senator, and really thank you for your support on the child care efforts, not only in the military but throughout the nation. And you are correct in stating that there is a national child care provider shortage in the country, and we are feeling that as well. Since the pandemic, we have had trouble, difficulties trying to hire more child care workers to work in our child development centers. Last year, we were able to raise the salary, the minimum wage of our workers.
So we're going to talk about the money in just a minute, but you do have a problem. Let's start there. And I just want to make sure I get this on the record, what it means for military families when they don't have access to the child care that they need. Can you just say a word about that?
Well, ma'am, it does create difficulties. We, as you stated, see child care as part of a readiness. We want our service members to be able not to really have to kind of think or worry, to be able to have the ability to drop their child off at for child care at a child development center or using one of the other options that we have available to them. Really kind of relieves some stress from them, and it allows them to focus on their mission and performing their task.
So this is a part of performing your mission and being able to concentrate on your tasks. Now, it takes a lot to recruit and retain staff for anything. But one significant issue is pay, which is where you started a minute ago. When was the last time you updated your pay scale for child care workers?
Well, last year, ma'am, we were able to raise the...
I'm not asking that. I'm saying, when did you last update the pay scale for child care workers?
Well, raising the salaries of our child development workers last year when we raised the minimum wage was when we were able to do that, ma'am.
You got the minimum up, but I'm talking about the scale overall. Not everybody's down at minimum. I understand that the last time was 30 years ago. Does that sound about right?
It's probably been a while since we looked at it, ma'am.
And what is the highest level of pay a child care worker in the military system can receive under your 30-year-old scale?
From what I've been told, ma'am, it's, I'll allow Mr. Constable to answer this question.
Mr. Constable, you want to answer that one? I think that was known as a lateral pass.
Chairwoman, thank you very much. The top of the scale is approximately $55,000 per year.
Yeah, $55,000. That's it. That's the top. So DoD runs a school system for military families called DODEA, or DUDEA, right? How does the pay scale for DODEA teacher compare with DoD child care pay scales for people with similar credentials? Secretary Cisneros? Unless you want to call on Mr. Constable.
Ma'am, they don't really have similar credentials.
Well, that's the question I'm asking is, when you've got people with similar credentials, maybe I should ask it this way. What is the top pay for DODEA workers?
I'll allow Mr. Constable to answer.
Mr. Constable?
The top pays approximately $110,000 per year.
So approximately 110,000. I think we understand the difference here. 55,000, 110,000 for the very top. So if we had two workers with the same credentials, same education, same experience, and one was teaching 4-year-olds at a DOD Child Development Center, they would earn only about half as much as one teaching 6-year-olds at a DODIA center. So I just have to ask, do you think that makes any sense? And are you surprised to find out that you're having trouble filling these spots?
Man, we know that, as you stated, right, we are having difficulty hiring these spots. It's a national problem. And I think being able to pay a competitive salary is part of that has to be there to getting the solution to resolving this problem.
So that's why we're here today, to talk about this. Look, childcare is infrastructure. We need roads, we need bridges to get to work. In the case of our military, sometimes you need an aircraft carrier or a cargo jet, but you also need a functioning childcare center. And if the federal government is serious about military readiness and national security, if it is serious about retaining families, then we need to invest more in childcare workers, and that means within DOD. It's put money into these workers. And we need to start by updating these pay scales and doing it now. 30 years is too long to go between, and it is a statement that we don't care about those people. If we care about this system, we'll update those pay scales. Thank you. And I now call on Senator Scott.
Thank you, Chairwoman. All right, Secretary Cisneros, you know that we talked about